Kristen, I got a confession to make. Actually, I don't mean to drop this on you, but I have been trying to buy push pins for like 3 weeks now, and I have not succeeded.
You mean the kind of that's like the emoji, like the little red pinhead thing?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Why don't you just
I
buy
don't think
that one?
I've
That
I
one.
don't think I've ever made that connection between like push pins. Oh, like the emoji, but
Hmm.
the but yes, that is what I am failing to purchase. Um,
Are you having analysis paralysis so with push pins?
No, I just like think it and then I'm like, oh, I'll remember to buy it when I am by a computer, and then I don't. And so I've been in this, oh, I'll remember cycle for 3 weeks now. So I'm gonna purchase them right now. Unfortunately, I might buy the Amazon Basics version.
Well, I know. We're all Amazon Basics life for the basic person. Hello, Hona. Hello,
Hey.
Pearl. Hello, okay, baby. Love the
What's
emojis.
up, y'all? Thanks for dropping in. Delivery for the team. Appreciate it, okay, baby.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well,
What's up? Howdy.
oh, hey, howdy, Esther Crypto.
Hi
Hey,
diddly ho. Hi
Priyanka. So
diddly
nice to
ho.
see you.
All right. I
Yeah.
think
Oh, hey,
dang.
Nabila slash
I
Purple
appreciate y'all
Nerd.
being here right at the start. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's not
Where
how the internet
we,
works.
we began with some urban capitalism.
Urban capitalism? What's up, Celine?
Yeah.
What is
Purchasing of the push pins.
what about that capitalism makes it particularly urban?
Oh, I'm just quoting something I heard from my newest obsession, The Handsome Pod by May Martin, Fortune Feimster, and Tig Notaro.
Can you explain to the crowd what you've been looking at and or sending me and
No,
just
I cannot.
confusing
I
me?
cannot.
Okay,
This
then
is
you
way
you
too
brought it up.
embarrassing, even for this pod. But in one of the episodes of this wonderful podcast by these other comedians who are like real world famous, um, Mae Martin had a shopping spree by
Hmm.
accident after a few drinks and ended up spending $900
On
on makeup and
nice.
weightlifting equipment
Okay.
and a synthesizer among other things to be sent up to Lake Arrowhead, which is like in the middle of nowhere, like a touristy place near LA. So
Yeah.
they were all making fun of her.
Oh, got it. So
Yeah.
you were watching that this morning?
Last night, but it's just such a good bit that I got stuck in my head. But yes, they were making fun of the rampant urban capitalism that does not belong in the rural areas.
Oh, okay, because it's like too much stuff for that location
Yeah, the
or
location, and Mae Martin went there by Uber, so now if they decide to keep all this stuff, they have to lug it all back.
was it even their house?
No, it
That's
was
crazy. Why would you send
Airbnb.
that to
It was
somewhere
it
that
was
you
just
don't own?
exactly. It was just madness.
What's up,
So your
Precious? Thanks
push
for
pins
stopping
are
by.
are very minor in
Yeah.
comparison.
Well, aside from binging another comedian, what else have you been up to?
Well, I've been up to hanging around in the baseline, which is the theme of today's show.
Yeah.
Which
What does
yes,
that mean?
which is what this little thing is. If you don't know music,
Oh, Kristen, what's up, 12? The we, would you like to expand on what we're talking about today?
where we're planning to talk about how we're now embarking on new adventures, which is like sounds. I mean, you can make it sound really good. You can make me like we're turning over a new chapter, a new leaf, or whatever. But at the same time, it also mega sucks because that means you have to
Yeah.
confront all your demons of like starting over and like all the shadow work that comes out of the little holes everywhere as we're trying to figure that out.
Well, so reflecting back what you're saying, what I hear is I want to do a new thing, but doing a new thing is hard for a lot of reasons. One of
Mhm.
them being you have to figure out how to do it, but the other big reason is that it makes you feel like a beginner again, and that in and it like itself is like a psychic weight or psychic damage, right?
Exactly.
Ooh.
Into the negatives.
Yeah, and like I mean, in theory, I love the beginner mindset like situation,
Mhm.
because if you can be emotionally mature about it, you're free, right? Like there's no expectation of being good, but like I don't know what psychic damage you received as a kid, but like for me, I got a lot of like, wow, you're really good at this new thing that you're trying. That's so impressive, Cameron, as like a kid. And
Mhm.
so now as an adult, when I do a new thing and I'm not immediately good at it, I feel like I failed in some way, even though that's like the normal way of the world. Do you relate to that?
I'm trying to remember whether I was you would think that I got that, but I don't think I got it as much as you because
Okay.
I wasn't the smartest kid in class. I was like I know. I was like 5th maybe. I'm like just below the radar of anyone noticing always.
Mm, mhm.
So I didn't get that gifted kid message, which I've heard about on the Instagrams.
Gotcha.
So
What's
like
like your baggage?
oh, I think my baggage is like in certain like arenas of life or like certain like societies, like where my my memory's distorted. I don't think this is actually the truth of what happened,
Yeah,
but
all our memories are false.
I know, I know. Well, in this current false memory bubble that I'm embarking at, that I'm like residing in right now, I have this like feeling of, oh, like, no one really listened to you and you weren't really respected in this environment. And
Mm,
therefore, like, it
gotcha.
feels like I'm constantly like, like a little kid, like jumping and be like, hello, hello. Like that is closer to my little shadow.
And what's your like
Hence
if you
this
want to
show. Can't you
yeah.
see?
But so if you want to talk about it, what's your like anxiety response to that?
My so I as I since so everyone I ever last night since someone doesn't like voice notes instead I sent him
Yeah, I
like
hate them.
like an essay in the form of like a million messages on Telegram where I shared that it's more like a physiological reaction where if
Okay.
I'm put on the spot, this is so funny because technically practice this all the time with you on the show, right? Where if I'm put on the spot in a professional situation, I feel like like this like I'm being chased by a lion, right? That's often like the
But
panic reaction that's happening.
so I want to ask like what you mean by put on the spot, but I want
Mhm.
to acknowledge chat.
Yeah.
Okay, baby, 100% emotionally concussed, literally like almost in tears in the shower like 30 minutes ago. We can talk about that if you want. And then
Mhm.
elect, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate that you are taking time out of the day to watch the show. But
Yeah.
and we'll 100% gonna fight about voice notes in a little bit. Chat, give your
That will
opinion.
be a riling debate.
I mean,
um,
because I feel pretty strongly. But so,
yeah.
Kristen, what does being put on the spot mean for you?
Yeah, so actually relating to what I shared like several episodes ago. Remember how I talked to you about the memory loss thing? I
Yes,
think that was the which one was that?
it was like
The
2 months ago.
anti-mimetics episode, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
available as an edited episode on this channel. Um I'm trying to remember the cross-reference our episodes. Um like I
Go
think
check
that
it out. There's a video about it.
yeah, because like for example, in a job interview like situation, the game is literally recall, right? Of like, can you recall a
Yeah.
situation that happened to you that relates to what we project you should do for this job, so that we can
Mm-hmm.
assess whether you're good at it. But then that quickly becomes like, oh God, do I even remember?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I do remember, but I need time. But in a job interview situation, you don't have time, right? So I think it's
Yeah.
that whole cycle of practice where I've hired a friend, a career coach, to help me out to practice. But in the meantime, it's like, oh, even just telling you all about it, I'm like, oh, like this is a terrible feeling
Well, we
that I'm
we can
learning
we
to
can move
practice and
on.
sit with. Hmm?
We don't need to sit in this. There's plenty of meaty stuff to talk about. But
Mhm.
happy to keep talking if you'd like. But
Yeah, but I want to know more about like your gifted kid situation, right? Like,
I mean,
so
it's something that like if you're not in the US, I'm sure that they have these elsewhere, but a lot of the times they'll segment public school classes by I think gifted is the wrong describer for it, but that's what they called it when I was going through it.
Mhm.
Um, and you'd go and have like separate classes like once a week, and then
Oh,
eventually
you were the
this,
separate classes kid.
yeah, yeah,
Ugh.
and uh, they do extra stuff. And then later, middle school, high school, there was like, you know, calculus instead of regular like math and stuff, AP courses, things like that to take college
Mm.
stuff early. But it was partially that, but also just partially. Um, I mean, we've talked about this. I I'm pretty like I have strengths and weaknesses, but one of like my strengths is when there's a new thing, I kind of get hyper fixated on it and like
Mhm.
end up being reasonably good. Like I can get to like the mid or like the 70% at a new thing pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Um, but I think like the cosmic trade-off for me is that I end up not being very good at mastering anything because I never really built the muscle of, hey, I got to stick with this to get to like a higher level of competence.
Mhm.
And so for me, all of my like external reward systems and then like internal self-talk that was like shaped by these reward systems, it became like this feedback loop of, it is good and impressive that you are competent at this brand new thing.
Mhm.
That's what you need to keep striving for. And if you don't do that, there wasn't a secondary message of, hey, keep trying. Practicing is how you actually get enduringly good at things. It
Mhm.
was it was kind of like oh, the praise disappeared. And so I didn't really think about this consciously for a long time, but maybe like, I don't know, 5, 7 years ago, I kind of looked back at my life and I was like, there's a lot of things that are really liked and enjoyed that I
Mhm.
didn't stick with because I wasn't immediately good at. And as a result, I
Uh,
ended up like jumping from thing to thing because I was
uh-huh.
avoiding confronting the unresolved inner negative self-talk about like, oh, you're not good at it. That means you
Mhm.
shouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and I can see that people who are, like, really good at their craft, like, the thing they picked is the thing they are okay with sucking for a very long time,
Yeah.
right? And, like, for me, like, this sort of thing and, like, stand-up comedy is the thing I'm okay with sucking for a very long time. Like, don't know why. I don't think we get to pick really, but then, yeah, like, I think, like, the other problem is that you and I both embarking on, like, it's a very complex journey, right? Like it's like a multi-step, multi-skill thing that we're both trying to do. So like if we suck
Without a
at
clear
any
victory condition.
yeah. So and then if we perceive ourselves to suck in any little like part of it, what I'm trying to do is to like hyper compartmentalize. I don't know whether you noticed, even in my messages of what I sent you, I try to be like, okay, I don't completely suck. There are certain steps that I'm really good at, but like because they are sequential, if this other step I suck at, then the whole system can't go right now. You know?
I think you're giving me a lot more credit of understanding your inner life right now than I actually do, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like,
What? I thought you would live in my mind like a little
no,
being.
like I know you, and I know I have a pretty good mental model of how I think you'll react to new things, but the
Mhm.
nitty gritty of how things are going, it's just kind of like, oh, Kristen's sending me a bunch of like videos from this comedian I don't know right now. Okay, cool. Like that's like where I'm at.
My stress displacement through watching May Martin.
Yeah, so Celine, exactly the jack of all trades, and
Mhm.
the the problem with, it's not a problem, but when you're trying to do anything in a way that stands out,
Mhm.
you are now competing, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on, excuse me, how you look at it, with a global ecosystem of players. And so, like, the person who used to just rip on guitar, like, go look at a YouTube video back in 2005, like,
Mhm.
that person is mid today in the grand scheme of like guitar creators out there.
Right.
And like in the grand pool of guitar
Mhm.
players in general, there's
Mhm.
a bunch of people that rip a whole lot harder than
Mhm.
the best creator because
Mhm.
they spend more time practicing than making videos. And so it's and that you can apply that to anything that you're doing, whether it's like in a business trying to solve a problem or
Mhm.
your own, creative act. Being good at it is relatively harder than it was like 5, 10, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
which means you have to spend more time doing fewer things to actually get good at stuff if you want to stand out in some sort of meaningful way, which is hard.
Yeah, so we have explored this topic
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit in the Rick
Good
Rubin.
plug. Good plug.
Oh.
What's up, Megan?
So and I think that the example of someone who's like really good at guitar and a creator is a great example, right? Because I think there is a creator out there who has millions of followers based on being really mid at guitar. Like it's like the being the best at being mid is also really good. And I think like that's where I'm trying to steer myself right now is like I don't have to be like some projected version of me being good at it at something. I have to be the most myself in that one thing so that within this like much more like defined category, I can be, much more competent. You know what I mean? There's like a competency in competency.
Can you say that a different way? I don't think I understood that.
Like I'm trying to think of like a creator who you and I both think are kind of bizarre. Oh, for example, the guy who makes the hats out of dry cucumber. Okay, like I'm
Okay.
pretty big on TikTok. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, with a very hard to pronounce name. Like in no world did we ever project that that could be a category of competence. Like growing
Mhm.
up, right? Like someday there'll be a guy who's really, really famous for making a giant hat out of dry cucumber. So like it's like kind of like that where like I'm trying to figure out like for example in job hunting stuff I'm really good at reach outs and taking really bold steps, right?
Mhm.
But then I feel like oh I'm actually like not as good at like pumping out resumes and like the interview prep step yet.
Uh-huh.
So therefore, what can I do to maximize the step that I'm really good at rather than trying to patch I mean, I still need to patch up the steps I'm not as good at, but like you know what I mean? It's like identifying the area of competence even
Uh-huh.
amongst things that are not going well.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple things in there.
Mhm.
One, like I want to tease out the idea of the competence
Mhm.
because what I think I hear you saying is you don't want to let the reality of not being the best whatever in the
Mhm.
world stop you from putting stuff out. Which is that an idea that you're talking about?
Correct. That's the creative aspect of things, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just that one because what we're saddled with right now is more like professionally related. I'm trying to transfer this creative philosophy even into like more mundane tasks.
Got it. So I think I disagree, or not. I don't disagree.
Mhm.
I don't think you're describing exactly how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Like I think competence is actually too broad of like I used it, but I think competence is too broad of a word to describe being good at making something like entertaining or useful.
Mhm.
Because the most technically proficient guitarist in the world, like guitar is easy to visualize, the most technically proficient guitarist in the world isn't necessarily the most musical
Mhm.
and also doesn't necessarily make the music that will appeal to like the most or more deeply than other people. Like you can look if you go back and look at Nirvana
Mhm.
back in the 90s, Kurt Cobain and the crew, Dave Grohl and all of them, like Dave Grohl lifted his drum beats from, like funk bands
Oh
and
yeah.
then and the guitar was
Mhm.
pretty simplistic in the
Mhm.
grand scheme of like technical guitar playing, but that combined with Kurt's lyricism and like how they made this sound, the simple sound hit really hard with a lot of people at that time. And so I'm trying to embrace, I think what you said of like the Christinness or the Cameronness of it, in that yes, you're going to continue to get like more technically competent at whatever you do through practice. But
Mhm.
the thing that's actually interesting is the less replicable thing, which is what you think about the thing that you're working on at the time and how you project that. Like I write a
Mhm.
poem in my voice because I have an opinion about like an emotional experience or the world around me. And that is the thing that's interesting, even if it's not, the Iliad. Is that kind
Yeah.
of like what you're talking about?
Well, I feel like that's a separate thing.
Got it.
Like that I completely agree with you about. Like the intrinsic quality of the thing never changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking more along the lines of 12 mentioning if I'm not the best at something I'm doing, I get mad depressed. I think it's just working through these cycles is what I'm more focused on right now.
Is it do you,
Right?
to
Because we
work
don't want to
through?
like be in our own way,
So
hopefully.
I want to ask, to work through that, to work through those cycles.
Mhm.
Do you care more or care less?
Care more or less about what?
Like, I mean, what lever do you use to get through? Because like I'm kind of figuring this out too.
Uh, well, I don't know whether this is the right approach or whether it is for even for myself.
Sure.
But like I feel like okay, clearly when I'm like on the move to do things, it's when I don't add this layer of perception on top of it, right? Of like what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
So there are these like layers of beliefs that are embedded
So
within the
no
task.
predictions.
Yeah, no predictions. And then like you know some resiliency towards like unwanted outcomes, right? Like these are the two things that I think are important for me so that I can be moving in a positive direction. Because I see that where I get stuck is when I'm stuck in these two things.
Is it so? I've been thinking a lot about the idea of letting go of the concept of a right way to do things.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, I mean, there are better ways to do some things than others, right?
Mhm.
CPR works a specific way. Obviously, they update it over time, but like there is a better way to do specific things than other things, color
Can you
grade
give
a
me an example
video.
from your life where you're switching from what you perceive to be the right way to the new way or
Um, I think I so I think one of the ones that I'm doing or trying my best to do
Mhm.
is not having to organize everything before I start like a piece of meaningful work,
Mm.
which is really hard for me because I simultaneously think very chaotically, but also really want my spaces to be nice and orderly.
Mhm.
But with a new baby, I just do not have the time to squeeze in all of the little like ritual things that I do,
Mhm.
that I liked to do or previously did. And so doing things while it's messy is really, I've been uploading poems and stuff without having to organize the papers on my desk first. And like, guess what? I upload a couple when probably before I would clean up the desk and then I wouldn't have uploaded any. And then by the time I have time to, work on something, my desk is messy again and I have to reorganize it. And so like I've been caught in these only organizing, never doing
Mhm.
cycles that I'm trying to change. I think maybe
Yeah.
another one. Another one is like I wrote an article about this years ago, and I still struggle to listen to it. But I try not to pre-optimize things.
Oh, right, right, right.
Yeah, and so for anybody that hasn't read the essay on wiser.xyz, wysr.xyz,
Oh,
stop
and the
pre-optim.
poems are on littlefeelings.com.
Yeah. Oh, good call. Good call. Good plug. The but so I have a tendency to want to do a lot of research and understand exactly how things should be going before I actually start on anything. And if you look at your life in aggregate and you calculate all of the time that you spend trying to figure out what the perfect first move is,
Mhm,
um, I think the balance ends up being it's much more useful to just start and make mistakes and then fix those mistakes
mhm.
than to try to figure out what the perfect first step is. Because pre-optimizing basically means you're trying to solve the problem with no experience, and solving a problem with no experience probably means you're going to have the wrong answer, even if it
Mm.
feels nice and organized.
Well, speaking of like littlefeelings.com, I felt like that was such a great example where you did set up a system because we've been talking about, you setting up the poetry system for a little bit. And then I was like really admiring how you did end up setting your system out. And then now you are on that poetry pumping out train
Yeah.
where yeah, like it is working. Like there is
Yeah.
a time I feel like in that case, the pre-optimization was really helpful. And I think that's why it's deceptive, right? Because sometimes it does help, and
So
sometimes it's hard to not get stuck on it.
so it wasn't pre-optimizing is the painful thing. It
Mm.
was, I got like, basically, I got a like okay, so my writing process is I typically, if I can, I write on paper,
Mhm.
and then I transfer that to the computer. Sometimes I'll write in, like, Apple Notes if I just have my phone and don't have a pad.
Mhm.
But so I had all these poems in these notebooks, and I wanted to get them up, and I kept trying to get them up, but then being like, "Oh, I don't have a nice place for them to go up, blah, blah, blah," and,
Mhm.
like, I need to make this site, like, nice and perfect and appealing. And so what ended up actually being the first step for me to do it was I just got a single page site with a bunch of sub pages
Mhm.
of like the poems. And so I just like uploaded a couple on this like very unadorned site. And then over the following few weeks, I organized the site, added a couple of different sections, and then
Mhm.
piece by piece, I built this thing that I'm pretty proud of. I think it looks really nice and is the right medium to view the stuff that I'm writing.
Mhm.
But what you're pointing out is it's not just about like the place, but it's the process of how you get stuff from ideation all the way to published. And so that was also kind
And
of iterative.
distribution. Yeah.
I don't have distribution figured out. I
Well, like, but now you have your system of posting on Instagram and other things, which I think
Yeah,
helps.
but I'm in the process. I mean, this is mid-process of none of that stuff is getting viewed in the way that it is currently getting distributed. And
Mhm.
so I'm gonna have to go back and adjust that process because it's not hitting in the way that it's not hitting the algorithms in the way that I was hoping it would. So I got to figure that out. So it's still a work in progress. But the like only way that I knew that this wasn't going to work was by
Mhm.
doing it and it not succeeding. And
Mhm.
so but yeah,
Well, what
no.
I really love about your system is that even if you don't succeed, like your baseline actually has bumped up. You know what I mean? Because your database and of your poems is already done, and you can always like, you know what I mean? I feel like that
Yeah.
is what's important. And I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it's
work towards that for my projects too. Because oftentimes on projects, I'm like, well, that was it. And I like delete the whole thing. and then
yeah.
and then like I'm like, wait, but nothing accumulated. So
Yeah, so
like that's what I'm working on.
Kristen and I decided that this year's theme, like months ago, was going to be accumulation era,
Yeah. And
because
so
we
yeah,
both,
if you're watching, I hope this applies to you too.
yeah, we do so much, we make so much, and we it sits in these places where it was like a one-off effort instead of something that benefits us like into the future. And not
Right.
everything that you do is gonna benefit you forever. But one of the beauties of doing a creative thing is if you put it in the right format, it can be valuable over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And but we haven't done a really good job of doing that.
Mhm.
I've written, I don't know, probably 1,000 plus poems in my life. I only have about 200 on the site. The other 800 were in lost notebooks, and they're just never going to be seen again. And that's a shame because
Mhm.
if you work on something and it has an amount of quality to it, it should have somewhere to live.
Mhm.
Um, there's
Yeah.
also
Like I
beauty
like
in
how
temporal.
Mae Martin. Sorry, you guys are all stuck with my latest fixation. Like
Yeah,
you can see her their stand up from when they were like 15 years old or something. Like it's up
yeah,
there on their
that's
channel. I'm
cool.
like, oh, it's so cool because you can see the evolution. So even if it was like, of course it's like nowhere near as good as their craft now. Like
Sure.
seeing that comparison is so fun.
So I have a it's not a like I don't know the right word to describe it, but one of my favorite things to do with musicians is to
Mhm.
listen to their EPs, like the first things that they put out.
Oh.
Because I've found that with musicians, there's like a special energy that the
Mhm.
first things that they put out have. Like a lot of it's trash,
Mhm.
but there's a couple things that because they're not like good at producing and making songs yet,
Mhm.
they make a song that's weird in a way that they won't make a year later because they have so much practice with the thing. And so
Mhm.
you end up with like some really interesting song structures or even just like sounds like early Skrillex, early Robinson, early Madeon, like those EPs, they almost feel like alive in a different way that a
Mhm.
professional musician can't replicate because you can't go back to that time when you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. And so I find that
Yeah.
really interesting because I think all artists have a version of that.
Mhm. That's true. Like that's the good thing about baseline and beginner's mind is the rawness of it. That's really hard for an expert to replicate.
Yeah. Like you struggle to express like I wrote about this a while ago too, like taste versus style.
Mhm.
Like you have a taste, you think some things are good, you think some things are bad, but you might not be able to express it properly with like the style of your art form
Mhm.
because you don't have enough practice. But like this you it's very hard to replicate the style of being a beginner when you're no longer a beginner because you're too good.
Mhm.
Kristen, how are you setting up a baseline for your life right now?
That's a really broad question. Well, I also wanted to address some comments, if that's
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, do it, do it, do it.
Yeah. So, oh, hi, Adeniyi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And Celine said exposure therapy. On the parts we feel less than is great. Nothing better than to get that shadow out there and see that was just magnified in our heads. It gets better by just doing it. Parentheses, unfortunately.
The only way out is through,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, and hi distro
What's up,
on a
distro?
yeah, I kinda be just laughing. And feels like deja vu right now. I mentioned this with the same music sample to someone last night. Wow, that is a fun coincidence.
Eternal truth.
Yeah. But yeah, so in terms of baseline, oh, this is the part where I did send you a million voice, not voice notes, actual text messages. But
Ah.
I cleared out my table, right? So in order because now I'm doing this like, it's like physiologically, emotionally very hard thing.
Mhm.
I've decided to drop the ball on everything else, which many of you may have noticed. Where I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do this very hard thing, and then I will give. In order for me to practice this, I need to give myself a lot of grace, right, and a lot of like free time, which means that I've dropped the ball on every single other project. So that's also like one struggle I have of this accumulation error thing, because it's like I cannot simultaneously do a very hard thing while also keeping everything else up. You know what I mean? It's like juggling too many balls at once for me. So like
S
that's why I think like the whole system that you have for the poetry is a good analog for me to practice because you can stop your poetry anytime, right? But
Yeah.
all the stuff you've already put out is already out.
Yes. Yeah, I okay. So, one, because you're my friend, I disagree with your framing that you're dropping the ball on everything else.
Oh,
I get in the technical
I have
sense.
okay, yeah, of course. If it's a job interview question situation, I'll be like, I have really prioritized. is,
I mean,
is the
all you
correct
gotta like,
way of
you
saying it.
just put some stuff on pause. Like, so strategy is about choice, specifically the choice of what not to do. And
Right.
so, in order to have an effective strategy for this phase of your life, you
Mhm.
are choosing not to spend energy on these other things. Um,
I'm
the
trying to think of
other
more
thing,
corporate ways of saying it. Is it every I have only one P1 now.
gross. I'm gonna throw up on stream. The I was talking to I don't know. Did I tell you that I've been like doing some networking calls recently and just like
Oh.
re-talking to MBA types is tough.
Mhm.
I just like I am an
Well,
MBA,
wait,
but
no,
like
but is this is the one where you are a mentor, right?
well, so I've been doing these mentoring Korean startups who are in like an accelerator program trying to raise some money.
Mhm.
That's really good. I think I'm being helpful. A lot of founders just need to hear, "Hey, you have the most context on all of your problems, and
Mhm.
you just need to make decisions that align with what you want and your team wants, and what the market responds to."
Mhm.
Um, it, very few people have ever heard that. Um,
You're such a great mentor, though.
oh, I appreciate
Like,
that.
yeah.
I like teaching, I like pedagogy, and I still have a lot of doing left in me, but I very much can see, the back third of my life being, a
Mhm.
professional yapper with the mentorship. But anyway, so like,
So these are Korean people,
yep, yeah,
or Mhm.
they're all from South Korea. Some of them like want to think about like moving, expanding to the US. Others
Mhm.
are just trying to figure out how to raise money from American investors, things like that.
Mm.
But on top of that, I'm also, talking with other, I don't know, businessy people, some mentors in the program, some like adjacent to it. And, we've talked about this before, but some people just get it and some people
Mhm.
don't. And I
Mhm.
don't know what that it is, but there's like a little sparkle of like, oh, I can have like an honest to God, no shit conversation with you about something.
Mhm.
And other people are just like living in the matrix, and it's super elitist for me to like say that. Elitist isn't the right word, but
So what was an example of that?
like
Without giving away too much information.
the assumption that everything is rational. Like
From
when
the
you
other
talk,
person.
yeah. So like when you talk to someone and in their mental model of how like people or investors or whoever make decisions, like if they're just like, oh, they wouldn't do that because that doesn't make sense.
Ah.
Like it's very hard to have that conversation when you've kind of seen behind the curtain a little bit, and
Mhm.
that a lot of people make a lot of decisions based off of like petty biases, like short-term thinking,
Mhm.
just fundamental hype
Alright,
irrationality
I have
trains.
to open another book. What should have talked about in this
Don't
episode?
throw your shoulder out. Like
I know, right? Oh,
everybody, to
at
save
this
Kristen's
point, this
arm,
might be today's episode's theme, just me
go to our main
yanking
page,
books.
look at the other videos we've done. They're pretty
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
But so like I get not frustrated, but
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, actually, no, I do get frustrated because my time is valuable, and it doesn't mean that I don't want to talk to somebody new,
Mhm.
but I very much don't really care for trying to. Have you ever read Anthem?
No. Is that a book?
So yeah, so it's an Ayn Rand
Oh.
novella, and
Oh,
so
no.
I so actually I recommend everybody read Anthem because it has a very interesting like plot device.
Hmm.
We're probably not gonna read it. Maybe we'll read it on the channel. Maybe I'll make you. But
I haven't
like
even made it through Myth of Sisyphus yet.
that's like a couple pages. Um,
It's
the
guys, it's really hard to read. Like
That's
oh,
true. What's up, Benyar? What's up, Frank? What's up, Mikado? Thanks y'all for dropping in.
yeah.
Okay, but so Kristen, like spoiler alert to anybody in the chat, the main thing in Anthem is that the concept of first person pronouns are banned. And so
Okay.
the concept of I doesn't exist.
Mhm.
And so, it's a dystopian society, blah, blah, blah. And so the kind of torch bringer, fire from the gods moment
Mhm.
is learning about this concept of the individual.
Mm.
And so, like, I don't really feel like on a one-to-one format trying to be a torch bringer to somebody, especially if they aren't seeking it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Because it's
so,
like their whole frame is off, and
yeah.
you can't change that easily with the conversation.
Yeah, and so like, maybe if we talk for 90 minutes, I might say something that pulls a thread, and then
Mhm.
they start the journey of like, "Oh, I don't have to go along this prescribed career path for the rest of my life because it's the right thing to." You know what I mean? Like maybe that'll happen with 90 minutes, but like I don't have 90 minutes to spare right now in my life.
Mhm.
And so, I'll do it in this format with videos, and so it's like a one to many format, but I'm
Mhm.
not going to do it one to one unless there's something really compelling about it, or you're paying me. Um, and so I got like a little shook because I forgot that that was how a lot of those conversations go. And that's
So
also
so
why.
it's like reacquainting yourself with the new tribe of people.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like I'm so deep in like the weirdo internet that when I come back to, normie
Normal.
land, I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm in a I don't speak this language. Like I can speak the language, but I don't care to."
Mhm.
Which is I don't know, maybe a little hoity-toity of me, but like I don't know, time's valuable. We're all dying. I want to
In these situations, you are helping the other person, right? Or are you like seeking
it,
assistance in some way?
a lot of them like if I'm there to help somebody, I'm
Mhm.
there to do it. These
Mhm.
are more kind of like neutral ground, like, hey, let's do a coffee chat, whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't think I'm going to say yes to those anymore unless there's like a
Mm.
compelling reason.
Mhm.
Just time's too valuable.
Mhm.
Um, but all of it's helpful for figuring out my new baseline for my life, which is like I'm mostly fumbling. Not fumbling, just like I'm trying things. It's kind of falling apart. And so, to your point about little feelings and the kind of creation to publishing pipeline and then eventually the distribution pipeline, that model of like a system for capturing, serendipity and posting it,
Mhm.
I do think that that is the right conceptual model for everything that I'm trying to do. It's just
Mhm.
figuring out what works for each line of thing that I'm trying to do. One of which is like app development. And that's really hard because there's a lot of people that spend their entire, 80 hours a week doing software kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
I can't do that.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I could, but I'd sacrifice a lot of other things to do that. And so I'm trying to figure out the versions of the stuff that I want to do that fit with how I want to be spending my time.
Mhm.
And I don't have a good answer.
Are you okay with saying a little bit more about that? Like why your
Well,
model doesn't fit for app development?
so I'm a new father. I have a son who's 1 month old, and it
Already.
kind of what?
Already.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I took him apple picking the other day. Honestly,
Oh, already?
extremely stressful.
What did you expect a 1-month-old to be able to do
Well, no,
in
because it
apple
was a
picking?
family, and so like we went as like an extended family, and
Ah.
the planet's on fire, so it was 80 degrees out. It
Mhm.
was. I thought it was. I was very stressed about like overheating, um,
Yeah.
but but everything worked out fine.
What kind of apples did
The
you pick?
from trees, like have you ever been to an apple orchard?
Yes, I was asking you for the specific cultivar that's available in
So they
your
have
neighborhood.
all of them,
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
McCowans and Evercrisps, and there was a row of Granny Smith, which is rare in New
Mhm.
England. But just think of an apple, they probably had it.
Okay.
The
So did you have a similar experience as me in the Bay Area where, okay, yeah, we were like, "Oh, apple picking, this will be such a great deal," and you end up realizing that it's so much more expensive somehow to do your own labor to pick the apple from the tree yourself, and when you check out, it's somehow more expensive than a Safeway apple. Like
uh, Probably not. Well, so it's New England. Going apple picking is kind of like like a yearly thing that you do.
Oh, okay, okay.
You
So
know, and
you all have more reasonable options.
yeah, but it's also like you pay $20 for like a bag and it's not going to be as efficient as the produce, but you're paying for,
The
fucking around
experience?
outside for a few
Yeah.
hours. Yeah. And
Which is such
it's,
a actually such a, a North American thing, I think.
yeah, I mean,
You pay to labor yourself.
but I mean, I like it because it's like the farmers can get a much higher revenue per square acre
Mhm.
if they just like charge people a bunch to basically throw a bunch of apples on the ground.
I know, and you get to sit on a hay bale and
Yeah. It's all a LARP. Um, but I don't remember where I was going with this, but like we did that, and I'm struggling with the concept of having to work in a society with families. Like obviously you need money to pay for
Uh-huh,
things,
uh-huh.
but it feels so shitty to not be in the family unit. And obviously, you want to be self-actualized by a lot of things.
Mhm.
That's like a healthy way to live your life. But the fact that I'm in such a privileged position that I can like work from home for the most part, and I don't have to be working 60 hours a week at this current moment.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to reintegrate working professionally into my life. When like I mean, I know most people don't have that choice, but really the fact that you have to make the choice at all is crazy
Mhm.
because you got a baby and you just want to take care of it and teach it and
Mhm.
ostensibly, set up the country for
Mhm.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
But, you just got to go, make staplers or something. It's crazy.
I know.
Like it doesn't feel like a good end state for humanity once
Mhm.
you shake loose the kind of hypnotism of a Puritan work ethic being like a principled good.
Mhm.
Working for work's sake, I don't think is fundamentally good or bad. It's just a thing, which is very different than how a lot of the Western world has thought for a long time.
Yeah, I think this is where those European countries are much more advanced in terms of like parental leave and like all of that.
I mean, I kind of still think those are band-aids, but
Yeah. Well, I know the solution to all this is that you need to teach Teddy how to code as a baby, so
I
you
mean,
can maximize the labor output and the time spent together.
I'm gonna maximize the the pursuit of making things.
Mhm.
Because I didn't have that as a kid. My parents didn't have that language. None. Like my grandmother actually, on my dad's side, has written poems her whole life, and
Oh.
I didn't really know until I was like an adult,
Mhm.
and they're kind of like very, I would say, traditional, every line rhymes kind of thing.
Mhm.
But the fact that coming from rural Tennessee,
Mhm.
with the upbringing she did, that she like did that of her own accord, that's like the most creative energy I've like found in the family in terms of like proactively writing stuff. Like my dad plays
Yeah.
guitar, and so he's like very good at that, but it's mostly performing, like actually I think exclusively performing other people's stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe some improv in there. And so like I had to discover this like maker energy that I have as an adult, or like
Mhm.
I figured out as a teenager, kind of embraced it, didn't touch it, and now like as an adult, I'm really trying to lean into it.
Mhm.
And I think
So
that
I'm wondering, like with like app development stuff, like how to cap make it more of a creative sort of thing for you or
well,
something?
I mean, the biggest thing is to not tie it to dollar amounts.
Yeah,
Like,
which doesn't help because that's the thing we're trying to solve for right now.
yeah, I mean, so are you talking about for me or for Teddy?
Oh, for you. I don't know what kind of world Teddy's gonna live in.
Yeah.
So there's talk about pre-optimizing. I don't think it's possible to plan ahead.
I mean, like straight up right now, I don't think he grows up in a world where college looks anything like it does today.
Yeah, which is
I think
good. I think it should change.
Yeah, but like I think it changes into collapse much more than anything else. Um,
Yeah.
I think companies don't exist in the same way that they do today. I think we have a fundamentally lower percentage of the economy that is like working in a
Mhm,
meaningful way. And I don't know what society does to adapt to that.
mhm,
But I do think that finding pursuit outside of like following some sort of prescribed career path is the only way to stay sane.
mhm,
And so like I really hope to create a place where he knows that making things and like pursuing something because you like it
mhm,
is in itself worthwhile. Which I didn't really like. I don't feel like I had anyone tell me that.
mhm. Yeah. Well, I'm very glad that he will have you as a guide.
Appreciate it.
Um, uh, but the right now, like both of us, like although we would love to make things full time.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the part where I'm almost like trying to trick myself a little by making the professional stuff more fun for myself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then trying to like, because for me, what's fun is talking to friends, right? So I was like,
Sure.
okay, how can I make that as much of the process as possible? Because that's the part I find the least painful right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's never as binary as just work, just play.
Hmm.
Um, do you do you feel like you have to rationalize that to yourself because you feel like a little shame in doing that, or is it just like inherently not fun and you're trying to like Jedi mind trick yourself into liking it more? Like, what's the friction?
Mm, I don't think that that's actually but the good news is I don't think there's any shame component to it,
Great,
but it's more
great.
like, how can I help myself, right? Like,
How
and
do
I've
how do you make
learned
it
through
easier, less
living for this
painful?
long that like the stick never works. It has to be the carrot. So
Sure.
how can I like, enjoy even the shitty parts of a process, right?
Yeah.
Because that's so like I don't think there's a single, even if it's like purely creative, there's nothing we can do in life that's like 100% like rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, you don't just get to make and then it magically works. There's,
Yeah, yeah.
posting and selling and
Mhm.
there's all this stuff.
Yeah. So like, what can I do to and also to again like to make the hyper compartmentalize and not think that, oh, I hate all of it, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's this really specific thing that is nagging me right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I try to, even as I share with you my 1,000 like, messages, like, oh, actually it's actually more narrow than I thought. Like, how can I make this one tiny step a little bit easier for myself?
Gotcha. That's interesting that you're like isolating down the thing that you dislike the most.
Mhm.
I think I could do with doing a little more of that. I very much like I very much like I don't have analysis paralysis anymore. I perhaps have like the opposite problem of I don't think about things before I do them anymore, I think.
Oh.
Um just because I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll learn it all on the fly.
Mhm.
Um but I still do avoid unstructured open-ended things because that's like my like open loops are fundamentally uncomfortable for me.
Mhm.
And like the thought of opening like one the big one specifically right now
Mhm.
is I'm working on a kind of spiritual successor to my startup that I shut down
Mhm.
5 months ago now. Oh my god! But the spiritual successor to Seymour is what we're calling Tap Next,
Mhm.
and Tap Next functionally 80% works,
Mhm.
but it needs a new coat of paint and it needs like a site rearranging because we like built it and then I haven't gotten like the product designer touch on it
Mhm.
yet. No
Mhm.
branding or anything like that. It's just kind of like the bones. I don't know how long that's going to take. Odds are it's going to take me like 2 weeks,
Mhm.
but it might take me like a couple months if it like really drags.
Mhm.
And that's scary right now. And so, I have like the tab open where like what I functionally need to do is go through and click on every button of the site and make a decision of does this go here?
Mhm.
And so I keep getting stuck at that step of like, I don't have time to start that today. I don't have time to start that today. And so, I'm working on uh doing that so
Mhm.
that I can gain like in the army, there's a tactical operation called a movement to contact.
Mhm.
And it's basically when you don't know where the bad guys are and you don't really know like what the situation is, you take a unit and then you kind of move them until they run into the enemy. And
Mhm.
you do that to gain and maintain contact so you have information about their disposition, their forces, like how they're arrayed on the battle. Like you're doing it to try to understand what you should actually be doing next.
Mhm.
And what I need to do in my life is more movement to contacts with the stuff that's blocking me because once I can shine a flashlight on it, it's a lot less scary of like, oh, I actually just need to, put the logo in here and move some of these like titles around. But right
Mhm.
now I'm sitting in this like unknown scary.
Mm.
Um, and that's just kind of like a me problem.
Well, but in this analogy, I feel like the the enemy here is the potential customer, and that it seems like it would be good to run it by people that you think would be interested in using it, so you have more external information, so you don't fuss it with it too much before you find out that you have to change your mind about things.
So that's true in some places,
Mhm,
but like broadly, this has been informed of 3 years of conversations with creators and understanding how they work. And so like the debate about talking to the customer is like I'm at the point where I need to put the thing in front of them, not the
mhm,
idea of the thing, because I've
mhm,
had enough of those conversations where I'm like, hey, like I have conviction around this aspect of it, and it
mhm.
just needs to like get to the point where it meets the like shipping versus craft that I care about the thing that I do now, because I've shipped shitty web apps before,
Mhm,
and part of the bottleneck of people actually finding use in this thing is it
mhm.
not feeling shitty. And so, like, I've
Well, I
unfortunately
okay, I
yeah,
feel like I do wanna debate you on that. I mean, as, as customer and as
what's
your
up, Bob?
friend,
Yep,
if a product actually serves a very painful need, it can be really shitty,
I know.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I feel like that's the game, right? And then what you perceive to be shitty is not the true reason sometimes.
yeah. Like, there's definitely an element of like, hey, Cameron wants this to be this good because he's been building stuff long enough that like he only wants to put stuff out with a certain level of quality.
Mhm.
There's also like an aspect of this specific market that I'm going after with this.
Mhm.
I've seen has a higher standard for what stuff needs to look like,
Mm.
um, and I also think that like I kind of disagree more broadly with 2025 of oh the shitty thing is like people will use it if the need is strong enough, because I
Mhm.
don't think those problems exist in the consumer side, which is where I kind of consider this to be more of.
I
I think
see.
on
Like, if it doesn't meet that minimum, like, shiny quality bar, they won't even consider the
yeah,
utility of it. Okay.
yeah, cuz like we're not like it's not 2015, like we have had apps
It's not?
on your phone. Yeah. Like people have been using the internet long enough that there's
Uh-huh.
like a level of kludge that they're just coming to expect, and it
Mhm.
ultimately becomes like a usability problem of like,
Mhm.
oh, this like fucking sucks.
Can you
Um,
get someone else to do this part?
Not without paying, and so
Yeah. 'Cause you don't wanna pay?
no,
Even if someone can do it in, like, 2 hours?
I one they're gonna do a version of it like
Mhm.
I'm trying to do like I'm kind of anti I'm trying to take the parts of like startup mentality that I think makes sense going into the future
Mhm.
and balance it against like the art side of me.
Oh. So you want to be the person who is good at making a thing look good, which I totally relate
Partially,
to.
like I think as like like a true differentiator of building things into the future,
Mhm.
there's like I'm not saying that this is me, but like people that I look up to are like the Donald Glovers, are
Mhm.
like the Henry Rollins, are like the like I mean maybe not Joni Ive too really, but the like Virgil Abloh. Like I think the aesthetic of something is important, and it's
Mhm.
something that I'm trying to like lean into more,
Mhm.
because I think it also helps the accumulation era part that we're working on as well.
Mhm.
And like the bad side of it is like it's working on something for a year. And so like like before you put it out, which like I can't afford to do. And
Mhm.
so my problem isn't that I'm working too much on it and not releasing. My
Mhm.
problem is I'm not starting. And so that's like the thing that I'm solving, because I actually do
Mhm.
think, especially like looking at what I've done with Little Feelings over the past few months, is like I do think when I get the work going, I'm spending the right amount of time
Mhm.
on this like trade-off. Like I'm
Mhm.
truly just at the like, oh, I can't start it for some reason.
Mhm.
Which, I'm working through. Um, we got to fight about voice memos.
Oh, right, right, right.
We got like 10 minutes to fight about voice memos.
10 minutes? I think this is a 3-minute debate.
I don't know. I'm pretty passionate.
So the debate is, are we ending it on that note that you can't start? Because now I'm like, oh, maybe this is a good topic for next time if you don't mind us going down that route.
I
But
mean,
or
like,
are you like, ah, this is too much looking. Everyone go away, which I totally do
no, it's
understand as
it's
well.
not too much looking. It's like I don't think it's any deeper than, hey, just fucking start. Like
Well,
I don't think that there's a cosmic unlock. Like I don't think that there's some frame of mind that I need to hit where I like
I don't
release
even
some
think it's a
tension.
mindset thing though. I think it's a
Okay.
practical thing. I mean, as you know, tooling for design, like for non-professionally trained designers suck, right? Like there's
So
a
I'm not
practical
stuck on
aspects
the
to that.
design, Kristen. I have
Oh,
it all. Like it's
oh.
literally the like I have the color palette I've put
Mhm.
together. It's literally just the execution step of getting into the code base and doing it, which isn't that hard either because I have, AI tools to help me do it.
Mhm.
It's truly a like, hey, like stabilize the crap in your life and then use the time to do the thing to do the thing.
Do you feel really badly in the body when you think about it? Like, how I
No.
think about certain steps?
No, I'm just like,
Oh.
okay, I'm not like I'm not recoiling from the thought. I'm
Mhm.
not like, like I don't think it's some deep-seated insecurity that like it's truly a, hey, just get out of your own fucking way and do it.
So why are you in your own way? If it's none of these things, what is the other possibility? Just truly curious.
Because fundamentally it's hard for me to start stuff. Like that's like the same thing with the pins. Like me bringing it up at the beginning of this call, like I
Mhm.
I ordered them while we were talking.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
what's the difference? Like, did talking to me help you order the push pins?
No, it's
Just
it's
claiming
it's
credit.
literally just like you ever build circuits?
Yeah, like for physics class a long time ago.
Yeah, and so like a circuit functionally, can be incredibly well engineered, but if the
Mhm.
last little bit of like activation, like the if one
Yeah. So what is
nanometer
that
of
last
copper
little capacitor resistor you put in for the push pin? What was that?
is just not letting the moment disappear.
Okay, so there's a specific moment that happened that is
Yeah.
outside of your conscious control.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not outside of my conscious control because I have like a crazy high internal locus of control opinion, but
Opinion, yeah.
like like the frustrating part
Mhm.
truly is it's not like I'm at peace with it or I'm
Mhm.
trying to be at peace with it. Like
Mhm.
the reality is it's fully, hey, just fucking do the thing. Like no excuses, no organizing before, like just open the code editor and start working on it. And like I do kind of think there's something biologically about me that like doesn't do the thing, but as soon as I start doing the thing, I just execute.
Mhm.
And so like maybe I
I
need to
mean,
get
there's
Vyvanse
some.
or something, but the
Oh, I was gonna say there is some research, like, about that. Like, the like, activation of certain circuits that requires, like, B vitamins and all sorts of random things.
yeah,
Um,
sure. I mean, send me whatever vitamins I need to take.
well,
I'm
it's
not
like, you
I'm not a
have it,
bio
right? Like,
person.
the fact that you ordered the push pins, I know this is a very micro thing compared to the actual, design, but, like, because you've been telling yourself that you wanna order push pins this entire time, and then at one moment, right before we started the show, that clicked, and that went through, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to isolate, okay, what actually changed in that moment?
I just did it.
Yeah, so that means there must be some like, part that is outside of the locus of control that allowed that circuit to go through, right?
I mean, like, the difference was I just did it, and I know that's not satisfying, and we
Mhm.
want there to be some sorta, like, rational reason for it. Like, I really just think sometimes you get out of your own way and other times you don't.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
which is really, a lot of things that as you know, I would randomly be like, "Ah, I wrote a Substack." But I've been saying that in like for like months, and then I randomly did it, and I
yeah.
can't explain how I did it.
I mean, okay, so my real
Right?
answer here is I think I have some sort of lifelong cumulative burnout.
Mhm.
And because I've lived a life that wasn't authentically what I'm trying to do. I managed the symptoms of my biology with a bunch of really externally rigid structural disciplines,
Mhm.
right? With military college and army and all of these things, traditional schooling.
Mhm.
And then I transitioned to an MBA program, which had some of those things. So I stayed pretty much like on a lot of the rails. I had a
Mhm.
schedule and everything. Went to a startup, which was rigid in its own way. And then when I was running my own startup, I did some things very like well and disciplined, and other things just fell to shit.
Mhm.
And then as that compounded, like I was still accumulating all of this burnout by like being in these boxes. As I ran my own thing, I had like I could not manage some of it,
Mhm.
or I like let go of pieces of it. And so now I have like a mega cosmic I have like a cosmic crisis of discipline in a way. And
Yeah,
so
that no longer works.
yeah, and
Mhm.
so, I'm treating it as like a psychic wound
Mhm.
that is healing over time because I'm like gently shaping the structures of my life to like let the water flow downhill.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so like the work on this thing isn't something that I need to have a big conversation about to solve. And I'm not saying we can't talk about this on the show, but it's like I'm doing the work, not asking for help. And
Mhm.
that's like I'm happy to talk about it. And I
Mhm.
think that the like I don't nail every day exactly the way that I want to, and I'm frustrated some days more than others. But like I'm building the castle that I need to build to house all of the things that I want to do.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's great.
Why do you keep sending me voice memos?
Um, I did not. First
No,
of all,
no,
I did
you did a
not.
while ago, and I was just like, God damn it.
That was so long ago. Okay, yeah, that was so long ago, and I stopped immediately when you said you hated it. So that's why I was like, "This is a 3-minute debate." Like, so I don't know. There is a little bit of a gendered thing going on, though. As I noticed that with my female friends, we do tend to send voice notes to
Okay,
each other a lot more often.
interesting.
Yeah. And the thing is right now, like, even WhatsApp has transcription, so that's why
Mhm.
I was like, "This is a non-debate," because you can just read the transcription from Telegram or WhatsApp if you don't want to listen to the voice note.
I don't know how to. Is there a button for that, or is
Well, you probably have to pay for premium. So
yeah? Well, I think you
so
paid
that's
for
number 1.
premium for me, so thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a button, like a little A and a little arrow, you
Uh
press
huh.
that and it will transcribe it.
Gotcha. I mean,
The
like clearly, I
downside is
don't
that
talk to
only
that many people in my life, so I don't know any of this.
oh, wow. But yes, everyone, there is a function in Telegram Premium, I think, that allows you to transcribe the whole thing. So,
So,
it's also easier, like or at least I don't know about you, but when I'm talking versus when I'm typing, different information comes out. It's like different
sure.
parts of my brain are controlling different parts of the mode of communication. And I feel like sometimes some issues that are more like complex, kind of like what we just talked about, like warrants the voice format, which is why we have the show.
So, sorry, please continue.
Oh no, that was it. I
So
see the
here,
floor.
so I think if I'm being like my most aggressive,
Mhm.
I think voice memos are a way to not like they're an excuse or a crutch to not sharpen your thinking.
Mhm.
And so like obviously I agree that there's probably a gendered component to it. But maybe there's some sort of like interpersonal dynamic piece. So like, I don't think I've ever sent a voice memo, like, or received a voice memo from a male friend, like
Mhm.
ever. And so maybe my gut monkey brain reaction to receiving like a voice memo is,
Mhm.
this person is slowing me down, because there is like
I
I
see,
can,
because, like, it's like, I'm not bothering to
yeah, you
condense
don't care enough
information.
about me to let me consume it the way that like is the most efficient for me.
But
And
is
like,
everything about efficiency? And also, I wanna, like, also say that, like, Jacob, like, JRF on Farcaster sends me voice memos, so it's not, like, totally gender thing.
yeah,
But I
sure.
think it's because he's busy running around places and he's in a car.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like that's interesting. I'm hypertextual. Like I like reading. I don't particularly like listening to an information content thing. I don't like listening to podcasts. Please listen to our podcast. The
That's that's why we have this show, so I can
Yeah,
force you to listen to me as you edit. It's
yeah.
great.
No, I mean, like, I would rather everybody just read my essays, but they don't. That's why we talk. But like the th- there is an element of listening to a voice memo is a give and take,
Mhm.
in the sense that like somebody is asking you to expend an amount of energy on this thing,
Mhm.
which for some people is less energy than reading, which I acknowledge. Like for me, it's very much not. Like listening to somebody is a lot harder than just reading something that they wrote for me.
Mhm.
And so that's like my kind of like myopic view of it. It's like
Mhm.
you are asking more of me than I would like to give to this kind of interaction. But also, I'm not very consistent with my interpersonal interactions either, right? And so for someone that's very practiced with having conversations, voice memos are probably like a convenient way to do it, because that's how they tend to converse, right?
Mhm.
Maybe the issue here is like, if you don't have conversations with this person regularly, don't send him a voice memo. Maybe that's the solution to everything.
Yeah, so why can't I send you a voice memo?
I
Yeesh.
mean,
I don't know who else I talk to more.
shit, that's a good point. The I don't know.
No,
If
no,
I
no.
could if
I feel like, okay, what I sent you last night, which is actually a lot of what we discussed in the show today, it wouldn't have made a great voice memo because you would just have seen me like spiral, but verbally, which is even more confusing. So it is
well,
good that I typed it out.
so that's also kind of the subtext with voice memos, is like it lets the sender just kind of say and ramble and do whatever they want, not
Mhm.
trying to insult, your
No, that was
message
exactly what happened.
construction. And like, you know,
Well,
I
and the meta
like go
commentary is that it's extra terrible because I was like, Cameron, I don't, I like, don't drill me hard on the show today. And then you were like, I'll offer myself, and I totally just did that, and I was like, oh no, I feel terrible. So,
well,
so yeah,
okay,
the prep of
actually,
the show.
since you brought it up, you were like, "Hey, I don't want to talk about this job stuff," and then you just kept
I
talking about the job
know,
stuff.
I did, which is
I was just
totally a
like,
thing
I was
I do.
trying to divert it.
Yes, I know, I know.
The
It's because I only have one track mind, like, and clearly
No,
once I
that's real.
fixate on something, like even
You
if
really
my
do.
fixation is to let it go, I totally did not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, we'll talk about this later, but the the thing with voice memos, because I do feel pretty strongly about this, is like
Mhm.
I would rather somebody be confronted with what they're about to send me before they send it.
Oh, that's
You know what I
true. That's
mean?
something that voice memo does not allow me to do.
Because you're basically offloading the parsing
Mm.
and structuring and the like understanding of a coherent thought to me.
Oh, I think this is the fundamental difference. Okay, so with friends where I send voice memos to and with each other. I hope they realize this. I don't like, the point isn't for me to even give a constructive response. It was just to be like a receptacle for them to rant towards. Whereas I think you, like, which is very kind of you, are like, let me solve this problem. And
Yeah, I mean,
that does
functionally,
not make
why
a
would we be talking if not? That's the male loneliness epidemic, right?
right,
The
right. Which again, like ironic because you are so good at listening, so I don't even know what's going on there. But like that is the difference.
Well, I mean, I think I'm good at listening because I learned very early on that that was a way to be useful in relationships.
Yeah, yeah. So with voice memos, I feel like because it's so low effort from me, I don't expect a high effort from the other person either.
I mean, but Kristen, it's an open loop. You sent it. And so it's an open loop, and the only way to close it is to interact with it.
Yeah, with an emoji.
Come on.
Oh. Well,
But
but I
like,
mean, that's why we like, I feel like you and I do specify, right? Right. I am just journaling, interactive
yeah, no,
journaling.
like we've built structures to handle it, respectfully. Like I'm not actually unhappy,
Mhm.
but like I feel like so much of communication is just everybody not really thinking about like so much of communication issues are like just a lack of empathy of what the other person is receiving from you.
Well, yeah, because we're all self-centered.
Yeah. I've been reading some pre-Islamic poetry
Oh.
and it's
Well, what does
fascinating.
that
Like,
mean?
oh, I mean, so
Why specifically pre-Islamic, I guess?
because I saw it and I thought it'd be cool. This is
Oh.
War Songs by
Mhm.
Antara Ibn Shaddad, who's a warrior in the 6th century, in the 500s.
Mhm.
And I was reading like academics are crazy with their intros for stuff like that because they
Mhm.
just like go on and on because they've like been translating this thing for so long.
Mhm.
But he described a lot of the poems as like kind of like action hero esque or like rapper bravado esque.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was just like, what does that mean? And I was just like reading it, and it's like, oh, this warrior is talking about how dope he is because he killed so many people.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because he's not no, pre-Islamic poetry is not just Christian poetry because there are other parts of the world that were not Christian before Islam. Most of the world, actually. But the but the anyway, he doesn't give a shit about who's reading his thing. He's writing his poems, and that's
Mhm.
what I find interesting about communication is sometimes you do it for yourself and sometimes you do it for other people.
Mhm. Maybe
What
we
are you
can talk
getting
about
to
that
today?
in the next episode.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ideal
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
communication form. Or like, effective? I don't want it to make it too professional. Like, well, what's a good way of saying it?
Just how to talk a gooder. That's
Okay.
probably it.
Alright, alright. Next
Thanks for
episode,
dropping by,
talk
y'all.
Twitter.
We are way over time. We'll catch you in the next one.